One of the most interesting storylines the rest of the season has got to be the LA Lakers. I think there's no way around it. Everybody's watching these guys to see how the year is going to play out the rest of the regular season. And then what do they become going into the playoffs? I think a lot of people will peg them for a playoff spot. I don't think there's many people who are going to argue that. They've been able to rip off a lot of wins in the last month, even games without Anthony Davis or Luka Doncic, right? So LeBron putting together some really nice games, JJ Redick seemingly able to coach some good games, players stepping up, Austin Reeves, other guys, Rui especially, right, having some really big games. And it's propelled them to victories, and it's kept them afloat in the win column. 34 wins, 21 losses. Winners of 8 of their last 10. They've done a pretty nice job to navigate those waters through the tumultuous parts of the season where, Anthony Davis gets traded and you're bringing in Luka and he's, not in shape or lacks conditioning, whatever the case may be. But we're going to be watching them, right? This is a team that's played 55 games. You got to figure out who you're going to be now that the roster is essentially complete for the year. There's nothing really left to do, right? Unless you want to say there's a buyout contract or something between now and whenever. We have to see who they're going to be, right? How is this Luka LeBron thing going to work out for this year? Does it really matter all that much for next year or the year after? I mean, obviously the future is Luka, but you want to compete, right? The league is better when the Lakers are good. The league is better when the Lakers are in the playoffs, right? The league is, in terms of Adam Silver and the powers that be, they love to see LeBron in the playoffs. And now with a co-star that is high profile, right, in Luka and that whole trade, it's exciting, right? So we'll see if they're able to, what I believe is the most important and essential part of the rest of the season, right? The next 20, 25 games is, what is their identity going to be? What kind of a team are they going to be? What system will they deploy? Who is going to be their primary ball handler in all the different scenarios? Now, it's pretty clear it's going to be Luka for a bulk of the game. Right, if he's in the game, it doesn't do you any good to have him off the ball where he really doesn't do much. Maybe there's some sets where you can draw it up so he can actually kind of move around a little bit, come off of screens, get in a position in the post maybe, use him in some different ways. But I think really what it's going to be is Luka handling the ball and then LeBron getting to his spots where Luka can actually dish the rock, which I think is probably the best thing for the Lakers. And I think that dynamic obviously is going to be really important for JJ Redick to figure out, but I think more importantly is, what does this mean for Rui? What does this mean actually more so, I think, for Austin Reeves? When Luka's not in the game, Austin Reeves clearly has a much bigger role. But with all three of them on the floor, somebody's going to be the odd man out, right? It's already one thing to see that LeBron has been a much more willing participant playing off the ball. And he's actually been playing off the ball more so this season than ever before. And that's good for the team. They've won games that way. But this is the same team that lost to the Charlotte Hornets last week. In back-to-back games, they lost to the Hornets and the Jazz. They still have to decide who they're going to be the rest of the season. They have to decide what their offensive philosophy will be in different situations and scenarios. It's really intriguing and interesting. I will admit that. And it's probably what I want to see because, you got the Grizzlies ahead of them in the standings. You got the Nuggets ahead of them as well. They're not far away. They're very, very close. It's just a couple of games. And a lot can change over the course of the next 2 months, right? So we'll see what happens. We'll watch this development. It's really interesting, honestly, to see Luka come in, LeBron possibly taking the back seat. And how sustainable is that? And how willing is LeBron to take that backseat? I think it's pretty clear the direction of the organization, but to see it play out that's really the story. It's one thing to know it. It's one thing to kind of see it as it's going to take place, right? It's different to watch LeBron take that backseat. And look, hopefully he takes it in stride, and I think he's understanding that the team can win without him having to be ball dominant. You have Luka now. You know what I mean? Who at this point in his career is a much better player. Just age, right? And LeBron, for his age, right, he's still capable of playing 30 minutes of effective basketball. I think recently in the last month, you've seen him commit defensively, which has helped them win games. LeBron doing some of those things is what's going to help the Lakers win. It's not him being ball dominant. It's not him jacking up a bunch of threes. It's going to be him committing to a role in which he's letting Luka shine, and then he's playing off of that. And LeBron's also a really intelligent player. You know, he can kind of find ways to be a difference maker within the game that doesn't involve him having to have the ball in his hands. Really, really interesting. Let's see if they can get past maybe the Grizzlies, stay in front of the Rockets. You know, the Clippers aren't too far off, but that's kind of where they are within the standings. And they've got matchups with some of the top guys. We'll see how they stack up with this new team, but this is going to be all about identity. What are they going to be as a team? And it most definitely is going to be, you know, how are they going to be defensively? Are they going to be able to stop teams, get stops, and then are they going to be able to score under different circumstances? And of course, health is always going to be a thing, right? LeBron is 40. Luka's an unconditioned, lazy preparer. You know, that's just some of the things that come with it. But the nice thing is they're younger guys, Rui and you know, and Austin Reeves. They're very willing and capable players. They're really good. Their bench guys, the Lakers bench, there's not much going on. You know what I mean? So these guys are gonna have to do a lot of heavy lifting. But this is really, really interesting. I'm super psyched to see what happens to the Lakers the rest of the season. I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm just intrigued by this last stage of LeBron's career and him being paired with a star that's definitely a better player than him. It's without a doubt, right? We kind of saw the whole thing with Anthony Davis, right? They won a championship together with AD as the best player, you know, so it's a new challenge for LeBron, right? We'll see how this plays out. What do you guys think is going to play out the rest of the season? Do you guys think they'll have a good close to the year? What type of offense do you think is going to be best for them? How do you think they do defensively? What do you think about their chances in the playoffs, by the way? Which teams can they beat in the Western Conference? I like their chances against, you know, the Clippers, the Wolves, the Mavericks without Anthony Davis. I think I'm taking the Warriors over the Lakers personally. If, you know, the Warriors continue to improve and get better, they've done surprisingly really well recently, right? They've won 3 in a row. The Jimmy experience so far is off to a good start. Who do you think they beat in the West? And let me know where you think they stack up the rest of the season in the wins column and where they end up in their seeding for the playoffs. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next one.